There are multiple past tenses in the Spanish language, but the two main ones, the pretérito and imperfecto, are used the most often. And one of the toughest things to learn as a Spanish student is when to use which, because even though with direct translation that can apply in certain scenarios, such as I studied, estudié, preterite, versus I was studying or used to study, estudiaba, that those direct translations can help, but there are other rules that we have to abide by on when you use which. And this video, we're going to talk about when you typically use the pretérito and when you typically use the imperfecto. So with the pretérito, and this is the tense with the most exceptions as far as irregular verbs, it actually has less rules on when to use it than the imperfecto. And I use this mnemonic CBS. The C stands for completed action. So if I were to say I studied last night, estudié anoche, it's completed. It's something I did. I recorded a video, grabé un video. I went to bed, me acosté. These are quick actions that are completed over a very finite period of time. And that's when we use the pretérito. And the next two examples, the B and the S, are actually more specific examples of completed action. For example, the B stands for beginning or end of action. So in Spanish, this would be verbs such as comenzar, empezar, iniciar, for to begin. Por ejemplo, empecé a ordenar mi apartamento. I started organizing or putting things away in my apartment. And verbs such as terminar, acabar, completar, as in to finish. So typically, when you started or finished something, that is a very specific completed action. And that is why it's also in the pretérito. Just like S, series or sequence of events. These are actions where they happen right after each other, and the first action had to end in order for the other one to begin. Por ejemplo, me levanté, me duché, me maquillé, me vestí y salí. I got up, I got showered, I put on makeup, I got dressed, and I left. There you go. You had to get out of the bed to get to the bathroom and shower, to also put your makeup on, and then back to the bedroom to put clothes on, and then out the door. Again, a sequence or series of mini completed actions, events. So that's when you typically use the pretérito. And even though there are only 3 examples of when you use it, doesn't mean that you use it far less than the imperfect. Those are pretty general examples. Now, the imperfect is a little bit more finite. It's more detailed. And we use the mnemonic TOPHSIA. So the T stands for time, whether you're saying what time was it, qué hora era, o cuál era la fecha, whether it's time as far as the hour, the date, the day, the season of the year. And then the O stands for what I talked about in the beginning, ongoing action, which typically in English means was doing something. Por ejemplo, yo estudiaba en la biblioteca. I was studying in the library. I'm not saying when it started, when it ended, for how long. I just was studying there. Imperfecto. We don't know when it started or ended. The P is for physical and emotional description. Era muy bonito. It was beautiful. Hacía mucho calor. Hacía mucho calor. It was nice out. Emotional description. Ella estaba muy triste. She was very sad. Okay. Él estaba muy guapo. He looked good. Cleaned up nice. Again, and that's an example right there. He looked good, but that's a description. And even though looked, we would think that's a pretérito, it's actually the imperfecto. So this is why these rules apply, and they're way easier to help you navigate these situations correctly. Now, the H is habitual action, something that you used to do. So, por ejemplo, cada verano, mi familia y yo viajábamos. Every summer, my family and I, we used to travel. That's something that you used to do. It could be cada verano, cada día, todos los días. Those are trigger words for habitual action, something that you used to do. And then the S is simultaneous. So, yo bailaba mientras cocinaba. I was dancing while cooking. Or I was singing while showering. Cantaba mientras me duchaba. Two things that you are doing at the very same time. And your keyword is mientras, which means while. And then this next one is the I is interrupted action. And this is kind of a cheater because it's half imperfect and half pretérito. So when someone interrupts you, that is a completed action. And that part is in the pretérito. But what someone else was doing before they were interrupted is in the imperfecto. Por ejemplo, yo grababa un video cuando sonó mi celular. I was recording a video when my phone rang. Well, the phone ringing is the pretérito because that interrupted the filming of the video. I was filming, and then this call totally interrupted it. So that's why it's half pretérito, the interrupter, and then half imperfecto, the thing that I was doing before I was interrupted. And then finally, age. Cuando yo tenía 25 años, when I was 25, cuando era joven, when I was young, that also is the imperfecto. So remember, with the pretérito, CBS, completed action, which also entails beginning and end of action, or sequence and series of events. And then for the imperfecto, a little bit longer list, but doesn't mean that you use it more often, just more specific examples. TOPHSIA, time, ongoing action, physical or emotional description, habitual action, simultaneous, interrupted, half and half, and age. And there you have it. That is when you use the pretérito and or imperfecto when speaking in the past in Spanish. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments below. And if you haven't followed me, follow me now and go to makingspanishsimple.com and subscribe today for more information that you cannot just get on all of my social media.